LADA. And you could also watch me live right now on PH and Facebook, live into PH. And we're active and can interact on X, Nigeria Info PH. All right, that being said, let's start with the big stories. But just in case you're a first timer on the show, do realize that the show will run from now up until the 7 o'clock hour, when I would hand over to the sports team to bring you extra time. Or for now, let's start with the big stories. And the big stories, usually we have 3 stories from trends, from newspaper trends, from trends as carried on various news platforms. And the first on my list is a story that broke yesterday. The story has got to do with the political drama in Rivers State. So you'll remember sometime last week, just before the governor embraced the commissioners who resigned and were renominated, just before their names were sent to the House of Assembly for screening and confirmation. 13 appointments were made. For instance, permanent secretaries were appointed. Is it appointed? They call it, I don't know, promoted. Is it promotion? I don't know what term. Something about, what's that other one that the lawmakers pointed out? The point is, they have come out to say those appointments do not follow the law. Those appointments are illegal. Those appointments are, flouting the laws of the land, and it might, bring about some kind of trouble if the governor does not retrace his step. Now, I am for legality. I am for development. I do not take sides. I would never take sides. God help me. So I'm looking at it from the angle that if indeed it's flouting the laws, I am hoping it's not as amended, because I've been looking for the law and I've not been able to see a full copy online. But I'm hoping it's not, the law as amended recently. But if indeed it is flouting the law, remember, we have been singing the song, strong institutions, weak men. We want our institutions to be stronger than our politicians. We want our institutions to be too strong that it cannot be manipulated, it cannot be maneuvered, it cannot be used for the interest of a few political elites, right? So it doesn't really matter, what side of the divide you're on. In my opinion, I am hoping that the right thing should be done. However, I'm also hoping that this is not another way or channel with which the assembly, the state assembly, intends to choke the governance structure or the governance style of the governor, His Excellency Governor Fubara. Now, remember on Sunday, I believe it was, he said the drama in the state, has choked him to the point where he has been unable to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people of Rivers State the way he desires and the way he believes he should. So, these are some of the issues. But what do you make of this? What do you make of this new revelation? I remember from yesterday that I think it was Martin. He asked the clerk of the assembly to send a correspondence to the governor to tell him to retrace his step, reminding him of the situation, at hand. But really, what's your take on this one? I'd like to hear from you. Maybe I could just quickly read a scene in our in-house bulletin. Oh, where is it now? Just give me a minute. I'm looking. Yeah, the Rivers State House of Assembly has accused Governor Fubara of engaging in illegality following his recent appointment. The appointees are to head 3 parastatals of government, namely the Local Government Service Commission, the Bureau of Public Procurement, and the New Cities Development Authority. During an unscheduled plenary at the Assembly quarters in Port Harcourt on Monday, the Speaker, Martin Amewale, faulted the establishment of the New Cities Development Authority. Correspondent Soibio Ruwari reports that the House resolved that a clerk should write to the governor on the consequences of not following the law before making such appointments. Consequences. We're still talking consequences. I don't know. I think the fire service or anybody who's got a fire service number, if you can hear me, please do well to reach out so that they can, fight the fire. They can quench the fire, because I'm in the studio and I don't think I can do much. But someone can help. A good citizen, a good Samaritan, please. You can help. And I believe the newsroom is also working on it, and something will be done. Eventually, I believe. I'm hopeful. But back to what I was saying. I just read what was in our in-house bulletin, and they have asked the clerk to write to the governor on the consequences of not following the law before making such appointments. So, I'd like to get your take on this. Some of the listeners of Artifacts, I know you're supporters of the governor, or you're part of the support system of the governor. I would like to hear. It's one thing to make a mistake, it's another thing to accept you've made a mistake. And I don't know what the law really does stipulate. Like I said, I've been looking for the law. I've searched, I googled. Someone has it. Someone can send it to me so we can read it on the show. However, I do think this is a serious situation and we must talk about it. But let's quickly move on now to the next conversation. We just talked about fire at YKC around Woji. It's interesting that there's always a fire incident around is it Nembe jetty, we call it waterside, Nembe waterside. Every now and then there is the report of a fire situation around that jetty, and it's confusing for me. Is it due to illegal refining and they're trying to Nembe waterside carry look into it? It wasn't long ago, a few months ago, I believe, about what, 5, 6, 7, I stand to be correct, and maybe a year ago there was a serious fire incident at that jetty. Why are we always having a fire incident at that jetty? But let's look at what was written in the in-house bulletin, and let's take your thoughts from there. Now, unconfirmed number of people are still missing after the fire at the Boni Bile Nembe jetty in Port Harcourt on Monday. Some boat drivers say 3 persons died and 2 other victims were hospitalized. Now, they told our correspondent that the fire affected 4 market passenger boats carrying about 200 people. The newly commissioned jetty and goods loaded for neighboring communities in Rivers and Brass in Bayelsa State were